Oh, goodness gracious. I'm actually in the house today. It's a Christmas miracle, as people might say it. We have some... So, we kind of started the channel based off, league news and stuff like that. And then we slowly got into our little podcast scenarios and stuff like that, right?
What?
And then today, as we said, when league news breaks, you are not going to miss a single thing. Keep that notification bell enabled for all this great league news. So, today, I was scrolling through Reddit. I don't know if he was, because I texted the news to him when I found out myself. Today, Rogue, the team who are 0-8 with Prophet, Kikis, Senkux, Hiku, and Wadid, they're making some changes going into LEC week. What week are they on right now? They're on week 5, right? LEC week 5, right? I think.
We're in LEC week 5. Next one's gonna be week 5.
All right. So Rogue is making changes. Vander is going to be switching for Wadid, and Finn is going to be switching for Prophet. What are your first initial thoughts on that? I haven't seen any Finn games, so I'm not gonna judge him based off that. I'm gonna have to go watch. He was from EU Masters, I think. You have to have like 3 Polish players or something like that to make sure it's all kind of like one native on your team. You know, kind of like with North America, you're gonna have set amount of North American players, set amount of imports, yada yada. Vander coming into the team is really interesting. I think that he'll provide the team with a lot more direction, but I don't think that Wadid was necessarily the blame for their losses.
I mean, honestly, the 2 best players on this team right now were Kikis, obviously, and Wadid. I mean, not Wadid, Prophet. Kind of confusing to me. Apparently, I get the concept of the riot rules, which kind of forces them into a situation. And on top of the fact, I heard that Finn was doing doing well in the scene that he was in already. So it's not a terrible pickup. He hasn't been in a professional scene for pretty much any time, so I am slightly okay with this. I think that it's like they're giving up on this main roster because obviously they need to make changes. Nothing really good is happening. I think that there was a few changes they could have made. I would have been fine with anybody getting replacing the ADC because it's obviously not working out.
I mean,
PQ is the single worst ADC in the entire Western.
Do you know what was the most upvoted Reddit comment on their subreddit?
I don't.
Was that someone said, "Why does Hiku still have a job?"
Wadid is just not good enough to be in the professional scene.
That's the issue.
I'm not Wadid. Stupid Hiku.
Well, no, even Wadid too, because Wadid actually people like to when I notice people watch his interviews and they read his Reddit posts and stuff like that. People seem to baby him up a lot, and some people are gonna ask, what's that term mean? When we were growing up, when you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, you said something nice to them to make sure they didn't actually get their feelings hurt. You would baby them up. You tell them the things they want to hear. When someone is in a room where he's in and he knows he admitted himself he's not playing well, and when you have people not the people that are your support system, not those people. That people are gonna say okay, man, you can pull through, you can do a good job. Not those people. The people that are telling him he's playing good when he's visibly not. Those are bad.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Wadid was a big problem with this team.
This team, but he knows himself. He's playing bad.
He's playing poorly, but again, if you want to make actual concise decisions, you need to replace the 2 other people who I'd say are the worst players on this team. Hiku obviously, and even
Senkux.
Senkux is not playing incredibly well.
He was not really good.
I mean, I think he's worse than. I don't know if he's worse. It's a really big toss up for me between the 2, but obviously I think this is going to be a choice where they picked up Vander, and I really hope this is a situation where they're just waiting for Forgiven to get back into the scene. Because I would understand that to an extent.
Oh, because they can have 3 Polish players and they can use a Forgiven and Vander.
I would really be fine with that because I hate Hiku so much.
But would Forgiven and Vander be as good as they were back in the day?
I don't even care, man. I just want to see Forgiven play.
No, I mean, but that would be a massive upgrade. Forgiven
I would like Forgiven to be on one of the top tier teams.
He said he would never join a bottom tier EU team.
Well, that is a bottom tier EU team that he's going to be going to.
Then he's gonna be offered a contract. I mean, I can't accept this contract. It's where we're too low on the standings.
Good accent for whatever you thought that was.
Prophet, to me, it looked like, to me, Prophet and Kikis were developing synergy And they were the
best players on the team. Like, there's unarguably no one else was keeping up with them.
And now Kikis has to develop synergy with a new player he hasn't even played with now.
I mean,
so you take away that good aspect going for your team.
I think Prophet would be an okay pickup for a lot of teams. I guess he does take him an import slot, but he's been pretty solid this year. I think he was a fine, pretty average top laner in what I would say is a stacked EU scene. So I'm fine with it. A stacked top lane in EU. So I would say I would be okay with him getting picked up. There's been a few things where I would have said, if we remember what he did to Kapashard, I mean, it was really kind of surprising, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was Expect, wasn't it? I mixed up the Koreans.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But this is the issue. Could this team have turned it around? We have seen some bottom tier EU teams turn it around before. When you just it just all of a sudden the patch is gonna change, things change. Remember, Wadid was on that Rocat team that almost made playoffs, and that Rocat team beat G2 when they were 12-0 and almost were the second team in LCS history to go undefeated. So I think that sometimes these bottom two teams can have a miracle run.
These are possibilities, but we have to realize that they were actually a bottom tier team. They were unarguably way below everybody. Even if they can make it, there's obviously something that needs to be changed, because if you want to salvage the season, you have to make drastic changes.
They're what, 0-8?
Yeah.
If they lose one more game, if they have the realistic goal to make playoffs is what, like 9-9, right? So theoretically, they only can lose one more game, and then if you lose one more game for that, you're done, because you will not have enough. You're basically counting on every other team to lose to the team that they're not supposed to lose to. It's just your destiny's what Cass say is not in your own hands. That's what they say. But yeah, they can only lose one more game, and you're done, because 9-9 is the playoff. You know that 9-9 is the bare minimum you can make it into. That means right now they have to go 8 straight wins to even have a contention for playoffs, let alone not counting everybody else losing or winning to make it possible for them. And how is this roster right now going to make sure all that changes in the next 4 weeks we got?
I mean, this roster is really only built up. Again, I think it's going to be developing Finn, and on top of the fact they got rid of one of the players to get another Polish player in, it's obvious they're looking to get another player.
They said Hiku was the team captain.
Hiku is not good enough to be a team captain. Hiku is not good enough to be a player. I don't care. He's not good. He's not LCS caliber. He's not a good player. Like, he could be a good player. He could be a good person. Maybe he is. Maybe he's a great person. Be a good person on something other than League. Like, there's no reason that he should still have his job at this point. He's been... What do you...
Oh, no, just Jason.
What'd he say?
Oh, he said, hey, how you guys doing? I'm going to ask him, is he free tonight? I mean, not free tonight.
You can ask him if he's free tonight.
I'm asking him if he's free this week.
He could play Uno with us.
Well, I'll ask him.
Can
you play Uno?
You want to play Uno with us?
But we have another piece of news. I'll give one more prospect on Rogue right before I send this action. It's girls. It's not a guy. It's girls. Come on.
Yeah, they thought Jason was a girl. You should. Thank you for salvaging that.
Are you in town this week, baby?
But I think that a big problem with this team, if you're wanting to salvage this team, obviously messing up the synergy that was kind of slightly developing in Prophet and what I would say is Kikas, it's not the best choice. I really think at this point they're looking to get a third Polish player just to make it look like they're trying to get a fan base going at this point, trying to salvage a team in terms of just fan bases and make a push to next split maybe, or wait until they get another player, because obviously there's
not making playoffs.
Finn is a big choice, a big. Maybe he's a good player. I don't know. I'm really... This hinges on how good Finn is. If he's good, I think you can build a team around this, because you have a good top laner, a pretty moderately okay jungler, pretty decent jungler, I would say. And then you would have a good support, and if they get an ADC to replace Hiku, I think this is a solid team. Because I think that Kikas is good at shot calling a team that when it's capable enough. So, we'll have to see.
And another issue came out today, another bit of league news, is... Exile is getting replaced by a guy named Special.
Special? I mean...
I know absolutely nothing about this guy.
Special has played before.
I feel like he has. We could look at his profile.
I know, Special has most definitely played...
Has he played before?
He was on... Was he on Giants? No, he wasn't on Giants.
I feel like he's played... I know I've heard that name before. Special... I know I've heard of... Was he on a challenger team? Was he on, like, Paris Saint-Germain or something like that? I feel like he was on one of those challenger teams. Special... He was on Misfits...
Misfits Academy?
Yeah, I remember that.
Ooh,
Was he on Fnatic Academy?
Hey, what's going on?
I don't remember. I think he was on Fnatic Academy.
Hot dogs with pretzel buns.
Tell him to give me a chili cheese fry.
I said a hot dog with pretzel buns.
Yeah. What was special on? I can't remember.
Chili and cheese.
Academy 2016 special. He
Yeah.
was the mid laner. I'm trying to remember what part and position did he play in Fnatic Academy? Because he played in Fnatic Academy.
I mean,
or Fnatic.
No, if you look at his profile, he's been playing since the early
2015.
2015.
Okay.
I mean, obviously he hasn't made a team out of all these entire years. Win on a lot of the I mean, look at this.
You're right, he was on Giants.
He was on Giants, was he not?
Wait, 2016 Giants. Oh, I remember this guy.
That was
the Giants team that went 1-15. And remember they won the relegations versus Huma. That I remember that guy. That team was terrible.
Was that the team with Fred?
No, this was the team that had.
What was
he
this?
He was the mid laner after Pepe Nero. Yeah, because it was Pepe Nero for a while. Pepe Nero didn't want to be in Europe anymore. They trade him for this guy. They have a new Giants roster. This is spring 2016 when G2 first came to the league, and then they went legit 1-2 and they went 2 and.
So what
6,
from what I
15.
can see, I mean, I've looked up a lot of his stats, and he has absolutely pretty terrible stats in terms of just the challenger scene at mid laners, and I'm really not understanding this because if his stats are pretty bad in the challenger scene, I can't imagine he'd translate well into the challenger scene, which kind of confuses me because Exile was not nearly the problem on this team. I think he was fine. I think
He's actually playing pretty decent.
The biggest problem is to why he kept falling behind was a lot of the draft picks just weren't in his favor. You just kept giving him draft picks that I pretty much 90% of the games he had the losing lane. I think this is really comes down to the coach's faults. Another thing I would say is Jeskla. Jeskla is not good enough to be another player that I'd say is not LCS caliber. So
I'm never gonna get flamed for saying all that stuff.
No one disagrees with this. Everybody did. Hikyu and Jeskla are just not good enough to be in the LCS.
This is the thing. Did you know that Reckless and Hikyu's stats are almost similar?
I mean, they're both on pretty terrible teams, and Reckless is also terrible right now. I'm not going to give him credit. He's been terrible this year.
We'll do a Fnatic video talking about their problems.
I don't know enough about their... I want to know what's going on in the inside, because this is obviously the case.
Only way to do that is to watch freaking Legends in
But let's be honest, I think that Youngbuck is good in certain aspects as a coach, but his drafting...
He said he's not good at early game.
He's not good
at late game.
He's
drafting.
not good at drafting.
He said he's not good at early game.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, his coaching staff has always been a secondary person, and I think they've been in charge of the drafting phase for pretty much all of Fnatic's existence. I think that a large portion.
But on G2 he was by himself.
He wasn't the only coach on there, was he? And on top of
no, he wasn't. They always have that second guy that I forgot his name. They always have another guy next to him.
I just think that Falco, Dylan Falco, and Youngbuck, they were a good combo.
Yeah, but here's the issue. What's funny?
What?
Dylan leaves. Now Dylan's team is second place. Youngbuck's team is last.
Yeah, but
isn't that weird?
I mean, obviously, there was a lot of things that I didn't know that were going on. Dylan Falco is an absolute. He's turned around. You know what? I give him credit. I don't think a lot of their strength has came from the coaching staff.
I think it has.
I mean,
because you look at the last coaching staff they had last year.
But look at their players comparison.
Yeah, but in Spring Split last year, they were struggling to get.
Look at the players; they're not the same.
I mean, but the players were
I'm sorry.
This roster wasn't expected to do anything.
I said they were going to be second place.
No,
Did
but
I not?
Last year's roster with amazing Vizitachi was supposed to be what, top 2?
Yeah, but they were supposed to be top 2.
This roster this year, people predicted them to be 5th.
No one predicted.
4th.
I predicted them to be 3rd. And on top of the fact, no one predicted last year's Schalke to be 2nd.
A lot of people did.
They were stupid.
You were on that's the Schalke hype train right there.
Last year, they were not anything.
No, but last year, you had a bunch of great European pieces to make a
really
top tier team. This year, it's weird because Dylan leaves. Dylan's team is 2nd. Youngbuck's team is last.
I'm gonna be honest. Again, I think that Dylan Falco has got a hold of what I would say is an incredibly talented roster. I'll give him credit where credit is due. He's gotten a few winning matchups.
Oh.
He does have a decent drafting phase. I think that's his biggest strength.
Guy. David Lim, who was on Clutch.
That is actually, but I think the biggest strength I see from this team is the fact that even though they do get they execute their drafts properly. I think that the drafting phase is not something I would say is incredibly talented, but I do think that in terms of the gameplay itself is incredible. I would give more of that credit to actually Lim himself, because I believe that Dylan Falco is the strategic coach deciding all the drafting decisions.
But overall, I think Rogue, like the scenario that I've just listed. Do you know how many times this actually worked? 0, because it's never happened ever.
What?
For a team to go from 0-8 to almost the playoffs. The only one time it almost happened didn't happen because Fnatic beat Misfits. And that means that Rocat, didn't make it in that spring 2017. That has never happened. A team has never made playoffs going 0-8. People are going to say Cloud9. Cloud9 did not have 0 wins. Cloud9 had 2 wins. Cloud9 went, 10 straight? No, they went 9-1. So Cloud9 had wins. Rogue has no wins. Rogue has to make sure they win every single game while not dropping one single other game, because you'll be at the 9th rank, then having to bank on other teams not winning either.
I'm going to be honest.
This split's over for them.
All they need to do is, if this roster works out, it's not about this split. It's about building synergy for the next split. If it works out, I'd be completely happy with it. I think that a large portion of this team is going to come off the back. A big portion of this team's success is going to come off the back of which team were we talking about? Rogue. I think a lot of their success could honestly come off of
it's funny.
Of Finn. I think this might have been an okay pickup. I think Exile did a
terrible. I have to watch some LCS Academy games.
But Exile did terrible. I think this is a terrible pickup all around, and replacing one of your fine members when you have a really struggling ADC is pretty terrible. I think that
Kasing is not a problem either. I feel like Kasing gets made worse because of Jessica.
Yeah. I think that Kadrill's been playing pretty well, so there's a lot of strengths on this team. I think that Expect has been playing. There's a pretty decent amount of players. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that none of them are exceptionally strong laners.
The draft is really not favoring them. Just picks in general that, Exile playing Urgot mid. That's just, I just don't see him really doing much on that. But that's my thing. But that's pretty much.
I don't see anything again. I'd like to see something come out of Finn, and I really do think this is a setup. The replacement of Prophet is a setup so they can pick up another player, which I'm assuming might be a new ADC, because think that seems like the situation here.
Last year, Schalke played Vander AD carry, and they had Crepo support. Why didn't they just put Vander at ADC?
Was that last split?
No, last year. Remember
that last year?
Yeah, remember Vander played 3 AD carry games and got him 2 wins? Boris is Crepo.
I know, but that seems like it's been so long.
No, what I was trying to say was, why didn't they put Vander ADC and Wadid as support and kick Hiku?
Because Hiku was the star of that team.
Oh, and captain.
And captain.
Yeah.
So I would like to see.
How did you feel that exact moment when I told you Hiku was the captain?
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't really think that could be.
Big is the captain of Optic.
I'm the captain.
He smells.
I smell like poop.
So see you guys later. Just a bit of news to kind of run down what's gonna happen. EU LCS this week, week 5. Finn for Prophet, Vander for Wadid, and what's his name? Special for Exile. I guess you can say Exile got excelled by Exile.
I'm sorry.